edition of Bet on this Friday night, and we've got a jam-packed show. We're gonna touch on all the bases, no pun intended. Andre Snellings is gonna join us. We're gonna dive into some NBA with you. Ohm Youngmisuk joins us from the West Coast. Weather's not so hot out there, but he's hot because he's got all the news with what's going on with the Clippers, and of course Russell Westbrook there now, making his debut tonight in the game against the Kings, and Tyler Fulghum joins us from Las Vegas. We'll have some Major League Baseball futures plays for you, as well as golf, the Honda Classic, Florida swinging action. So we've got it all. Let's bring in Dre. Dre, how you doing?
I'm doing great. It's a Friday, and unlike Ohm, I'm used to cold weather, so, the weather's not bothering me.
Ohm should be used to cold weather. I mean, he used to cover the Giants with me for several years. But we like to kick off, of course, Friday night with the good word, right? So we got to kind of put our thinking caps on. I didn't go to an Ivy League school, so just bear with me. Here we go. Question number one. Joe Burrow plus 750 to win the NFL MVP next season. Dre, what's your good word?
Shiesty, as in Joe Shiesty has an excellent chance to win this year's MVP if he played the way he did last year. He entered last season with an appendix surgery right before the season began, got off to a slow start that really took him out of the MVP race. But over the last 12-ish games, he played as well as anybody, and the Bengals were almost undefeated. So if we get another Joe Shiesty-like season for the whole season, that plus 750 could be good value.
Yeah, I'm all over it. I love it. My good word is cool, baby, because he is Joe Cool, right? 81-31 TD interception ratio. I do believe that the Bengals work out a contract extension with him this offseason, so he'll be making nice new money, maybe free up even some more cap space for the Bengals. They're already in a good spot when it comes to cap space, adding some talent, more talent around him. He's just one of my favorite quarterbacks in the NFL. And Dre, you hit the nail on the head. A lot of people might not be aware of this. It's not just that he had appendix surgery. His appendix burst. It wasn't like, oh, I've got a pain in my side. Let's go in orthoscopically and we'll remove it. No, I mean, it burst. And so you're absolutely right. He got a slow start to the beginning of the season. I think he crushes it next year. Here we go. Number two, Bryce Young, minus 125 to be the first overall pick in this year's NFL draft. What's your good word?
Swap. As in, this only happens if the Bears are willing to swap Justin Fields to another team, or swap that number one pick to another team that needs a quarterback at the top. And I happen to think they're going to keep Fields, and I'm not convinced that anybody else gives them the package that they want for that number one pick. And in addition, quiet as kept, in my own personal rankings, I might just swipe out Bryce Young for C.J. Stroud as the number one quarterback in this draft. So because I don't see all these swaps happening, I am going to pass and fade Bryce Young as the odds-on favorite for the number one overall pick.
Yeah, my word is mistake, as in huge mistake. When Julia Roberts tried to go shopping on Rodeo Drive and they wouldn't service her, she went shopping on her own, came back, opened up the door and said, huge mistake. Listen, Will Anderson is the best player in this draft. He is Micah Parsons 2.0, might even be even better. 34 tackles for a loss this season, 17 sacks. The dude is unbelievable. I mean, in watching what Micah Parsons was able to do this season for the Dallas Cowboys, one-man wrecking crew. I mean, he took over a game defensively. So for me, I think that there's some durability issues when it comes to Bryce Young. I'm not thrilled with any of these quarterbacks coming out. I get the number one overall pick. Give me a player that I'm going to draft, put on the defensive side of my team, and make a world of difference. Number three, the Warriors, plus 210 to absolutely miss the playoffs. Dre, what's your good word?
Fair. It's fair. You know, when the season began, I wasn't too worried that the Warriors were losing. They just won a championship. I was like, okay, a little bit of a hangover. We're 60 games in now, and they're still playing like they may or may not be one of the top 10 teams in the Western Conference. Steph Curry is hurt. They've had injury issues. I personally still think that Curry will come back. They'll get it together, and they'll make their way into the play-in and then into the playoffs. But if you want to take those plus 210 odds plus money, I think it's absolutely fair at this point in the season.
I got one word for you, and you're going to like this word, Dre, because you're all over this team. Lakers, baby. Lakers are coming for you. I don't believe the Golden State Warriors are going to make it to the postseason, so I will play this at plus 210 because we don't know when Steph Curry is going to be back. And Andre Wiggins, he's been out as well, so not sure with those health issues. You got the Pelicans. Hopefully, we'll see. Do they get healthier? The T-Wolves, Towns, does he come back? The Jazz, OKC. I'm wearing my giddy shirt right now. I love this OKC team. I just think it's going to be a lot of competition the next 20, 22 games. And without all hands on deck for the Golden State Warriors, I just don't think they make it into the postseason. Final one for you, Russell Westbrook. 6-1 right now to win Sixth Man of the Year. We saw his stats with the Lakers. Can he pick up where he left off with the Clippers? What's your good word?
Value. Because Russell Westbrook was the odds-on favorite to win Sixth Man of the Year for the whole season. I do these updates once a month. He's had negative odds to win this award for the whole season until the trade. And so now, all of a sudden, he's 6-1 to win, even though he latched on with the Clippers team where he has a previous history with Paul George. And if he keeps coming off the bench, I think there's a very good chance that he goes from 6-1 back to odds-on favorite very quickly. So I say value is my word here.
Yeah, listen, my word is wanted. Don't we all want to feel wanted, right? What was the narrative what was the narrative with the Lakers heading into this season? Oh, LeBron wanted Russell there, but then of course he wanted him gone. And then now you got Paul George lobbying for Russ to come to the Clippers. I like this. I'm going to play it 6-1. We saw his numbers off the bench. My only concern is how much playing time is he going to get? Because this is a Clippers team. They've got a lot of depth. So I'm really curious. And guess what, Dre? I've got the perfect guy to answer a lot of these questions. So Dre, I want you to hang tight. One of my favorite humans on the planet, Ohm Youngmisuk, is joining us from LA. He's got his finger on the pulse of this Clippers team better than most. Ohm, great to see your face, my friend. Let's start. What are the Clippers saying about how Russell Westbrook will be used? Of course, excited for his debut tonight against the Kings.
Anita, what we don't know is whether or not he's going to start or come off the bench. Ty Lue has kept that under wraps. But I will say this. I asked Ty the other day, what did you see in the first practice that kind of makes you believe Russ is going to give this team something it doesn't have? And he said speed and passing. He said he saw Russell Westbrook's speed right away, pushing the ball, pushing the pace and the tempo, getting it downhill and to the rim. That's exactly what they need. They need Russ to inject them with aggression, intimidation, basically energy and getting to the rim, and also his passing ability, finding three-point shooters out on the wing. That would be the perfect scenario for them. Of course, they also know that with Russ sometimes he does get a little aggressive with his shot selection, things like that. Ty Lue said, look, if he's doing too much, I'm going to let him know. We just want Russ to be Russ.
Okay, so on the opposite side, what is Russell Westbrook saying about understanding what his role is going to be? And his newfound team didn't have to move, didn't have to go far, playing in the same arena. But like I was talking with Dre, a different vibe there, right? Because Paul George was lobbying for him to be a part of that squad.
Yeah, so I think this is going to be the key here, because in order for this move to have been made, everybody had to be on the same page. Because I think at first management, Lawrence Frank, the team president, he just told us like right after the trade deadline, well, if we were going to go get a point guard, we would get one that is not ball dominant, because Kawhi and PG need the ball in their hands 60% of the time, and one that can spread the floor for them and also not be run off the court defensively. And so a lot of people took those comments and think, well, he does not want Russell Westbrook. But then, of course, Kawhi Leonard and Paul George said they did want Russell Westbrook, and so did Ty Lue. And Russell had to be on the same page. So Russell says he's coming in willing to do whatever the team needs, whatever role that may be. I don't believe he was promised anything. And I think he also is coming in with the mentality that he is not that third guy. This is not a big three. He is coming in to add add to the team. And so far, Russ is saying that he wants to do everything this Clipper team needs, and hopefully it works out. I'll say the one thing about him. He is absolutely giddy, Anita. I saw him in the parking lot yesterday after practice. We talked for about a minute or so. He's very excited. He was messing around with Marcus Morris and Paul George on the floor during practice the other day. I think he feels like he has a new life, and I think he's ready to show that on the court.
I can't. I'm one of the very few I know. I'm thrilled with the move. I'm thrilled with the addition. It's going to be fun to see what happens the remainder of the regular season and what they can do in the postseason. Ohm, thank you so much. Enjoy the game tonight.
Thanks.
You got it. All right, we bring back Dre. Dre, let's stay in the West, right? Like West, everybody making money moves. The Lakers, the Clippers, and of course the Suns, adding AD. So I know you've got a great article out right now on ESPN.com, our gambling site, and you're talking about the Suns. They are the favorite right now to win the West. Are you buying that?
I am not. I'm fading it for a few reasons. For one, this Suns team was nowhere near championship caliber before the trade. So if we want to look at what this team looks like when they're good, we have to look at the last two seasons. And over the last two seasons, it was Michael Bridges and Jay Crowder who were their co-defensive anchors that helped them on that side of the ball. So they traded away that defense to bring in Durant. They also traded away quality depth from a team that's already struggled with depth and injury concerns all season. And then because the defense projects to average, they have to really rely on Durant and Devin Booker and Chris Paul to really carry the offense and make it super elite in order for them to win. But all three have an unfortunate injury history. Durant's still injured now. Booker's missed 28 games this season. Paul really hasn't been the same since his 37th birthday. So when I factor all of those things together, there's no way I could make them the odds-on favorite in my book to come out of the West. According to our BPI stat, they're currently 13th in the NBA and 6th in the West. And with that being the case, there's no way I can put some money on them at short odds.
I hear you. I'm all over Denver. I love the Nuggets coming out of the West, and that leads right into Jokic, right? He is favored to win the MVP. This would be the third time, right? Third time he would win it, which would put him in a different category with Bill, Walt, and Larry. A lot of people feel that he won't get voted because of that. I think that would be an absolute shame. But minus 300, has that ship has sailed. How confident are you that the Joker will win the MVP?
So I think Jokic is likely to win the MVP. I think that, the narrative and that minus 300, it really, everything is working in his favor. However, I don't know that he should be the odds-on favorite to win. I think that as it stands right now, Jokic and Embiid should be neck and neck. They played at about the same level. Their impact on the court, as measured by stats like real plus minus, is almost exactly the same. And their teams have a very similar record. So I would have the two of them neck and neck, both of them behind Jason Tatum, who really should be the favorite right now. He's got the highest RPM in the league, so he's having the biggest impact on the court. He's got the most RPM wins, which means that he's having a big impact, and he's playing more minutes than a guy like Jokic, and he's on the team with the best record in the NBA. There's no reason he should be 10-1 if the Joker is minus 300. But the Joker has that triple-double narrative, and I think he's likely to win 3 straight.
That's what really does it for me. The fact that each and every night he suits up, you could wager, whether or not he's going to have a triple-double, because more times than not he does. On top of that, I think this is a Denver team. I think they're gonna get that number 1 seed in the West. They're going to have a home court advantage throughout, and I do believe they don't see the Suns until the Western Conference Finals, that championship, and I do believe they will represent the West in the championship. Jaren Jackson, favorite to win Defensive Player of the Year at minus 225. Do you see any value with anyone else?
So he's another one like Jokic that he has the inside track. Once he's played enough games, he'll leave the NBA and block shots by like a lot. and the Grizzlies have the second best defense in the league. So there's a good chance that he holds on. But a guy like Evan Mobley, who actually has the #1 defensive real plus minus score in the league and also is leading the #1 ranked defense in the league in the Cavs, should at least have a good argument for it. He's hurt by the fact that he's got another good defender on his front line that takes away, kind of splits the vote a bit. And so I think Jackson's probably going to hold on to it. But Bam Adebayo is another who's moved up to third in the odds and has a shot in Miami. But I think it's probably Jaren Jackson's to lose right now.
All these topics and more, Dre contributes, of course, on ESPN.com. So make sure you check out that column. We're going to go 3-box now. Tyler Fulghum is going to join us from Vegas. We're going to talk some NBA. We're going to try to feed the people, give them some winners tonight. We just had Ohm Youngmisuk on the show. He said that Russell Westbrook was all smiles, giddy in the parking lot, excited that now he's a part of this Clippers team. I know you have a play in this Clippers-Kings game tonight, Tyler. What is it?
Yeah, I'm not sure about the side, though I lean to the Kings. What I really love, and is my best bet on Daily Wager for the entire weekend, is for this game to come under its total, 236. You can shop around, see if you can find 237, 238. But I'll point out, 22 of 28 Clippers home games this season have come in under the total. 19 of 28 Kings road games have come in under the total. Kings on the road, Clippers at home. I will admit that the calculus for this Clippers team has obviously changed after the trade deadline and the buyout of Russell Westbrook, adding him to the roster. But these are the teams that are ranked 1 and 2 in the Pacific Division, with the Kings on top. I think this is going to be a physical game. And I think with the Clippers having this game at home, it's going to play more to their pace, slower pace than the Kings. So I like this game to go under. In fact, my best bet on Daily Wager for Friday.
Ooh, coming out of the gate strong, Tyler. Dre, you've got to pick the Knicks going up against the Wizards. I've already played the Knicks over their win total at 43.5, but you have a player prop in this matchup. What is it?
I do. I've got Jalen Brunson over 26.5 points. Look, since the calendar flipped to 2023, Brunson has played in 22 games. He's averaged 29.7 points per game in those matchups. And in the 8 games leading up to the All-Star break, he was averaging 32.5 points, and he went over 26.5 in 6 of those 8 games, including the last 4 straight. I think this is just Vegas hasn't caught up to the fact yet that Jalen Brunson is more of a 30-point-per-game scorer these days than in the mid-20s. And so until they catch up, I think it's kind of easy pickings to go with Jalen Brunson over 26.5.
I'm going with the Heat here, and keep in mind, when we started Daily Wager earlier today, Giannis was doubtful. Now he's questionable, so there is a chance, you say there's a chance, I'm saying there's a chance that Giannis might suit up and play tonight against the Miami Heat. But I still like the Heat. Give me the 4. Why? They're the healthiest they've been in quite a while. So they're coming in full strength. Also, Kevin Love's debut, and they always play the Bucks hard. Guys, they really do. I've got a player prop in this one as well. I like Gabe Vincent under 12.5 points and under 2.5 three-pointers. Why? Hero's back, Lowry's back, Oladipo's back. Where's the time? Where's the minutes going to go? I don't see Gabe Vincent playing as many minutes as he has. And also, he's going up against a Bucks team, 3rd best in the NBA against the three-point shot. Opponents are only averaging 34% from downtown. All right, Tyler, we come back to you. You came out of the box strong with your best bet. What's your second NBA play for tonight's slate?
I like this one as well. It's a pick'em now. It's Cavs visiting the Hawks, and the Hawks look like they may be adding Quinn Snyder. That's a conversation for a different day. But for tonight, I like the Cavs. Money line, pick'em. However you want to play them, I think the Cavs are just a superior team. They've had a little bit of trouble on the road, but when their starting 5 is healthy, when they have Donovan Mitchell, Jared Allen, Evan Mobley, Isaac Okoro, when they have that group, it's one of the best teams in the Eastern Conference. And frankly, the Atlanta Hawks have been somewhat underwhelming this season. I love the offseason acquisition of DeJounte Murray. John Collins is out. This team just hasn't quite gelled the way we thought it might with Murray and Trae Young in that backcourt. So I know it's a tough road spot for the Cavs, but I think they have the defensive first mentality to kind of shut down, slow down Murray and Young on their home court, and enough firepower with a guy like Donovan Mitchell running the point there to win this game. It's a pick 'em, it's a toss-up, it's a coin flip. I think the Cavs are the better team. I'll ride with them.
I like it. I love their defense in the paint. Dre, let's go back to you. A little birdie told me that we're on the same play, so I'll let you feed the people first.
Yep, I am going with your Josh Giddey shirt, and I am picking the Thunder +7 over the Suns. This line to me says that this is a number 1 seed against a lottery squad. But on the season, the Thunder are only 2 games behind the Suns in the loss column. They actually have a better scoring differential on the season. And Kevin Durant hasn't arrived yet, which, as we talked about earlier, means that the Suns' front court is very thin. So I could see the Suns at home. The Thunder just came off a very close overtime loss last night, so maybe they're a little tired. I could see the Suns as the favorite. According to BPI's game predictor, the spread maybe should be closer to 5 points, but 7 points is just too many for me, so I will take the Thunder on the road +7.
Yeah, I'm with you. Lockstep. OKC coming off a really disappointing loss in overtime. I think this is a bounce-back game for them. Also, they're great against the spread as a team, as a dog. 70% cover rate. No KD. Cam and Bridges are here in Brooklyn. So Chris Paul, more than likely, is going to be their best defender on the court. So yeah, and I love watching this OKC team play. A lot of people thought that they were going to come in and tank on the season, and that is not the case at all. So I'm with you. Dre, thank you so much. This is about that time of the show. We say hasta la vista to you, my friends. Have a great weekend.
All right, you too. Hasta la vista, baby.
Tyler, you're not going anywhere, buddy, because we're going from the hardwood to the diamond. Can you believe it? Major League Baseball training camp opening up, spring training, I should say, opening up soon. So let's talk about some of Major League Baseball futures bets that are out there that you could jump on right now. And I know there's one you're eyeing in the National League East.
Yeah, that's the Nats to go under 60 wins. I'm going to be a betting bully here. I think the Nats are going to be the worst baseball team in the bigs this season. And it is crazy that spring training's already here. Anita, I've now been scrolling through my Twitter in recent days, today especially, and seeing videos of the pitch clock being used and hitters getting issued a strike because they stepped out of the batter's box and were out for too long. I, for one, am excited to see the difference in the game with a pitch clock, with batters having to stay in there, keep the pace going. We'll see if the larger bases add or detract from the game. But I am somewhat excited to see how these differences this year play out. But back to the future, the Nats. Again, no more Bryce Harper, no more Juan Soto. They're full-on rebuild. No more Max Scherzer. I mean, all those players that were integral in them winning that championship just a few years ago are all gone. It's been a complete teardown for a rebuild. And I think in Major League Baseball especially, you can try and find that team that you think is going to be the worst in the big leagues. And I think there's a few contenders this year. The Nats, chief among them. They have the lowest win total in the futures market of any team in Major League Baseball. It's only 60. So we're talking 102 or more losses for this Nationals team. The fact that they play in the NL East, where the Mets are expected to be good, the Braves are expected to be good, the Phillies won the National League a season ago, and even the Marlins were a somewhat overachieving team. They have the NL Cy Young Award winner in Sandy Alcantara. So all 4 teams in the NL East besides the Nats are at least Miami, hovering around 500, if not legit 90-win playoff teams, the other 3. So they're going to be handed a ton of losses in division, and I don't think they're going to be much better than all the other teams they play outside of division. So I like the Nats to come in under 60 wins this season.
I'm going to focus in on the Yankees, and I'm going to go with Garrett Cole with the strikeout leader. And you can get that at 5-1. 257 strikeouts last season, 14 more strikeouts, higher than the second place finisher, Corbin Burns, who, by the way, dropped his rate, his strikeout rate per 9 innings to almost 2 whole strikeouts last season. As we know, Garrett Cole, because you and I bet on the over strikeouts, if I remember correctly, last Major League Baseball season, quite frequently averaging 11 strikeouts per 9 innings. This would be obviously the second time that he's won it in 4 seasons. And Verlander now is out of the American League. So it's wide open for him possibly to also win the Cy Young that you can get at 6-1. So I'm all over Garrett Cole. What is your second Major League Baseball futures? I believe it's an award, right? Are you looking at some of the awards that are out there?
You're right. And I'm looking at a pitcher in the city of New York, Anita, just like you. However, I'm going to that other team, those pesky Metropolitans. Steve Cohen has spent a lot of money on this team, and we know they brought in Justin Verlander, who you were just talking about. We know they've paid a lot of big bucks to bring in stars. One player they brought over from Japan is 30-year-old Kodai Senga. Hope I'm saying that right. He will be technically a rookie this year in Major League Baseball, and I'm picking him at 10-1 to an NL Rookie of the Year. Senga's been awesome over in Japan. This guy has struck out more than 1,200 batters there. He's been awesome in the World Baseball Classic. He has been one of the best international pitchers over the last half-decade. Now he comes to a team that's expected to win a lot, has firepower on offense, and he is not going to be counted on to be the ace of staff. As a matter of fact, there's probably 3 starters on that rotation or in that rotation that will get the ball before he does. He could be the 4th or 5th starter, so he's going to be lined up against the weakest pitchers on other teams' staff, and he has a squad behind him offensively, defensively. That bullpen anchored by Edwin Diaz, that's amongst the most talented teams in Major League Baseball. So 30-year-old Japanese rookie Kodai Senga, 10-1 to be NL Rookie of the Year.
Same team, different player. I mentioned him just a second ago, and that's Justin Verlander. NL Cy Young winner at 7-1. Why not? Right? 8-4 with a 1.75 ERA last year, 185 strikeouts. That was his 3rd time he had won it in his career. I know you're saying, well, wait a minute, he's 40 years old. Yes. But if ever there was a concern for him not to win it, it was last year coming off of Tommy John surgery. A lot of people say you get that Tommy John surgery, what happens? It becomes a bionic arm. Who knows? Now, and here's an added motivation. Looking to go back-to-back in winning the Cy Young in the American League and now this year in the National League, I think that's a big motivational factor there. So I do like Verlander to win the NL Cy Young this season at 7-1. Tyler, let's go from the diamond. I know we're jumping all over the place. To, of course, the Lynx. Justin Sue right now is at the top of the leaderboard in the Honda Classic. Chris Kirk is right behind him. Look at this. Nice, nice. Where's Sanjay M, dude? That's what I went chalk heading into this tournament on Thursday morning. He's nowhere to be found. But looking at the leaderboard, as we know, Saturday they like to call it moving day. Who are some of the golfers? What are some of the plays that you're looking at right now, Tyler?
Anita, for those watching who don't know, we're in a big, large DraftKings golf pool, and I'm looking at your lineup there, and I see that you have Chris Kirk, who's looking good this week, and I have Shane Lowry in my lineup, and I'm a few spots behind you, but I'm going to double down on Lowry, not only in my daily fantasy lineup, but at 22-1 to steam on Saturday and Sunday and win the Honda Classic. We know Lowry is, outside of M, probably the most accomplished, or maybe even the most accomplished as a major winner golfer in this very weak, watered-down field. He's closing up his 2nd round. I think he's at 4 under right now. So if he can birdie 18 and get to 5 under, I think that puts him in a great spot for Saturday and Sunday as probably the most accomplished golfer in this field. So to get him at 22-1 live odds after he opened at like 10, 12-1 behind him, I like Shane Lowry as an outright winner headed into the weekend.
All right, so I have 3 plays. You know me. I love Chris Kirk coming in, right? Like right now, he's 2nd, as we just saw on the leaderboard. He has 3. He finished in the top 3 both in the Sony and the American Express earlier this season. Great ball striker. He's gained 4 strokes tee to green since this tournament began, and his putting, really, that has been the difference maker. He's +3. He's gained 3 strokes putting so far in the first 2 rounds in this tournament. Data Golf, I rely on them a lot, gives him a 24% chance of winning this tournament. So I do like Chris Kirk. I'm going to put money down on him to win at +330. Also, Svensson, you heard me talk about him before. I like him to finish in the top 10, as well as Billy Horschel as well. Tyler, time for us to say goodbye. Good luck for us on the Lynx with the Honda Classic. Have a great weekend, my friend.
Thank you, Anita. I'll add Sung Jae top 10 as well. And our producer, Harry, is sandwiched between us right now in 7th place. You're in 6th. I'm in 8th. He also has Chris Kirk. So I'm kind of rooting against Chris Kirk this weekend. Sorry to you and Harry, but love you guys. Thanks for having me on Bet. Enjoy the weekend.
Have a great Have a great weekend. Before we let you go, I only have 30 seconds. So, Harry, our producer, let's get that graphic up as quickly as possible. XFL back in action tomorrow. Here are my 3 plays. I do like the under in the DC Vipers game. I love San Antonio laying the points with Orlando, and Houston, best team in the XFL. That's how I'm playing it. Good luck this weekend, everybody. Have a great weekend.